So we've just left Ya'an and now must drive through Erlong Mountain in order to reach the Ganzi Tibetan Autonomous Prefecture, where our next destination lies. Luckily for us, we won't have to climb over Erlong's freezing peaks like these tea porters had to do in the old days. And once we reach the other side, the weather will turn from warm and wet to cold with intense sunshine. As for the next leg of our journey, we'll enter Kangding, the capital city of Ganzi Prefecture, pass by Xinduqiao, also known as the photographer's paradise, and finally arrive in Litang, one of the highest towns in the world. This is the road we're going to take. Let's get going. The journey from Ya'an to Kangding used to take nearly 20 days to complete back on the Otian horse trail. Thankfully, we now have the Erlong Mountain Pass, which allows us to traverse through the mountain as opposed to over it. At more than 4 kilometers long, the pass connects 2 different climate zones, so by the time we'd reached Ganzi Prefecture on the other side, it was already nighttime and markedly colder than it was in Ya'an. So we finally arrived in Kangding, and you can see that this is the best season to come here because of all the cars parked. But for tonight, the most important thing for us to do is to find some accommodation. Let's see if they have any rooms left. 哎，你好，你好，请问今天晚上还有屋子吗？很抱歉，没房间了。Oh, there are several 3-star hotels, but they're all packed. Let's go and find another one. 好，谢了。请问今天晚上还有房间吗？没有了。Hi, how you doing? Do you still have a bed available for tonight?
But we don't have the single, maybe one bed in the 4-bedroom.
Yeah, that's fine as well. What's the price?
It's 30 yuan per person.
Okay, no problem. So although the hotels were full, there were plenty of Tibetan-style hostels to take my pick from. The rooms were clean, the staff spoke good English and helped me book taxis, and I particularly enjoyed spending a night in an authentic Tibetan bed. The next morning, we set off to the sound of the rushing river bisecting Kangding. As soon as we left town, the landscape immediately opened up to us. It was an awesome experience driving along our road, with snow and cloud-covered mountains all around us, but we still had to tackle quite a few mountain passes before reaching our first snow-capped peak. It's bloody freezing! We've left Kangding and we've reached one of the first peaks on Zordo Mountain. We're 4,300 meters high, and I'm not suffering from altitude sickness, but don't get too excited because your heart beats a bit too fast. I'm gonna go check out that awesome stupa. Having reached Zordo Mountain, we've now entered the historic region of Kham. It's one of the 3 ancient provinces of Tibet, with the other 2 being Amdo and Weitang. Once we'd frozen our socks off on Zordo Mountain, it was a relatively short drive to Xinduqiao, our next, slightly lower altitude destination. You'll know you've arrived when you see the landscape around you transform into endless rolling pastures, dotted with horses and rustic Tibetan dwellings. And in October, when the leaves fall, the plains are carpeted in a dance of colours. You don't even have to look for this scenery. It's all around us and everyone's stopped here to take photos. There's a very good reason why Xinduqiao is known as the photographer's paradise. With these kinds of postcard quality landscapes and excellent light conditions, even an amateur can point and shoot for a perfect picture. Honestly though, after taking so many photos of livestock grazing on the pastures, I did start to feel a bit peckish. All right, let's go get a taste of our first Tibetan meal. It's very common in Tibetan culture to have your meal out on the plains. So, with the surroundings as inviting as they were, I was quite eager to try this traditional way of dining out. Oh, look at this, what a nice spread. My first meal in a Tibetan plateau, and we're sitting here under the tent under the lovely sky, and this is all typical Tibetan food. 这些是什么东西啊？这些都是大家咱们一块都是一般都吃的哈。
对对对。
啊，
这是我们的牦牛肉，
牦牛肉，
头肉，然后这是土豆。
Also on the menu were yak buns and dumplings, but my personal favourite was a dry Tibetan cheese that tasted great with sugar. All of this was washed down with either butter tea or Tinker wine made from barley.
哎，我介绍一下。
哦，你好，
这我大姐。
啊，你好，你好，你好。
你好。说一下这个吃法。
好，好，好，我不太知道这些是怎么吃啊。那个好，咱们现在是做什么？
做糌粑。
做糌粑。Tsampa is the staple food of Tibetans, and 这个是什么东西？酥油。然后这个呢？
这是清茶。
So she puts a bit of yak butter in the bowl and mixes it with tea. 然后这个现在是
糌粑。
糌粑。So this is it's also called zamba, but it's barley flour, and she's pouring it into the bowl and. It looked pretty fun to make tsampa, so I asked if I could also get in on the action. 我自己试一下可以吗？好。Oh, it feels weird. It's kind of like kneading warm mud.
现在可以吃。
啊，怎么吃啊？这是这样的，这样的，就是 Let's give it a try.
好吃吗？
特别好吃。I can't explain it. It's kind of like cookie dough, a bit like a wheat biscuit, but it's really, really, really nice. It sticks to your teeth as well. 好，谢谢了，谢谢，特别好吃。With our stomachs full and fingers smelling like tsampa, we headed into town, where I was pleasantly surprised to find other foreigners. Hey guys, hey, how you doing? We're from CCTV9. We're a English travel program.
Okay.
We saw you guys and we had to stop our car to come out and say hello.
Okay, sure.
How are you? How are you guys finding Sinduqiao?
Because we have to change buses to go to Yadong.
Oh, okay. You're going to Dagong. So where are you going to afterwards? So, do you know about Shangri-La? Are you guys here to search for Shangri-La as well?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
You've been there already. How was it?
It was good.
nice.
It was good.
Did you?
People are very nice.
Quite touristy.
Okay. Was it in Yunnan? Was it Zhongdian or was it Yading in Daocheng?
Yading.
Yeah. Brilliant. That's where we're going as well, and that should be. I've heard that it's incredible there, and it's meant to be quite
Very
unspoiled.
Nice. Yeah, but you have to go to Daocheng.
Have to go to
Daocheng. That is very unspoiled.
Definitely. All right, brilliant. We'll head back on our way then.
Okay, sure.
All right. Have a great day, guys. Cheers. Bye. Although we were spending a lot of time on the road, and sometimes quite perilous ones at that, the scenery was well worth it. From morning to evening, the view outside of the car window was constantly changing, so I was careful not to doze off and miss some spectacular sights. We've left the photographer's paradise of Sinduqiao, and we've now arrived at Garasu Mountain. I can see all the way to the sacred Yala Snow Mountain over there, and we've come to watch the sunset over the horizon. I highly suggest you come at 5 o'clock because that's when it's at its most beautiful. I would have loved to have stayed for the sunset, but we had to rush off to the next town before it got too late. See you guys in Yadong. 好，师傅，走。 After a very bumpy 2-hour ride from Garasu Mountain, we finally arrived in Yadong, where most people spend the night before they head off to Litong, the highest town on earth. Honestly, my head still hurts, so the prospect of spending a night at 4,000 meters above sea level isn't too fun for me. And Yadong's 2,600 meter altitude is probably a lot better. We've come here at night, but people are still having fun and dancing, so I'm going to go and join them.
Dance is a part of daily Tibetan life. Often, you'll find people gathered outside dancing whenever they have a moment to spare, and although I was anything but graceful, I was also swept away by the infectiously cheerful music that night.